When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Game's over. Time to check my fantasy scores.
You using a VPN?
Why?
Because using public Wi-Fi without a VPN is like leaving your wallet open on the table.
Oh. Time to up my defense.
McAfee Secure VPN keeps your personal information private and is included in all McAfee plans starting at just $39.99 for your first year. Sign up at McAfee.com/online protection.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
When evaluating potential hires for your small business, it's essential you look beyond resumes. Sure, a candidate may appear impressive on paper, but understanding the person is crucial. LinkedIn, the world's largest professional network, provides a complete view of your candidate's skills, experiences, and interests. With LinkedIn's up-to-date data, you can be confident that you really know who you're hiring. Post your free job at linkedin.com/achieve. That's linkedin.com/achieve. Terms and conditions apply.
The Eagles survive the 2-point conversion and get out of Buffalo with a win 13-12 in a wild game, tale of two halves. A lot of craziness going on in that one. We're going to break it all down. Welcome into Postgame Live. I'm your host, Shane. Give me a follow on Twitter at ShaneHalfNFL. Also joined by Ryan Reese. Give him a follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, how you doing after that one?
Well, unfortunately, I'm sad to say that we're dealing with something we've been dealing with most of the years. We play one good half, and then we look like crap the next. And, it was funny. At halftime, somebody had texted me. I was just like, hold on now. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And sure enough, the conservative, double-digit lead BS caught up with us again. And, the defense can only hold on for so much against a really good offense. And, we're lucky to come away with a victory, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Eagles start the game a little bit slow, and then they get 3 straight scoring drives to close out the first half. But really what was going to happen in the second half is pretty easily indicated at the end of the second quarter. You have a 3rd and 8 at the 13-yard line. You got 2 timeouts left with 18 seconds, and you throw a tight end screen just to set up a field goal instead of trying to go score a touchdown, because the Eagles thought, hey, if we score 13 points, it'll be enough. We don't need to try to score a touchdown. And you know what? They were right, but they were right because Jalen Carter blocked an extra point, and the league favorite for MVP misfired on a pass to a wide-open receiver on a 2-point conversion in the back of the end zone. And so, honestly, it's just a really frustrating game because I came into this game and I thought, I came into this game off of the last 2 games where I was optimistic about the offense, and it's not because of their output. They played 2 really bad defenses, and so I told myself I wouldn't get excited by anything the offense did in those 2 games, but the process was so different. There was a lot of under center 2 weeks ago. And then last week against Washington, they went into a lot of empty, and it was 2 things that I really like and have wanted to see them do more. And process-wise, it felt like they were headed in the right direction. And even early in this game, they were doing a lot of under-center play-action bootlegs, getting Hurts out on the move, and that was really nice. And then they just stopped. And, I mean, their last 3 possessions was a first down run up the middle, a second down run. One of them was a toss, but first down run, second down run, third down incompletion, punt. Like, just vanilla, predictable. Defense has got this. We don't need to bother trying to score more because we have a double-digit lead. And honestly, what I walk out of this game with, my takeaway, is that you better pray that the Eagles do not get a double-digit lead in the first half of a playoff game. Because this is what they do every single time. It's what they did against the Broncos. It's what they did against the Cowboys, blowing both of those games. And they didn't learn from it. They did the same thing against the Bills. And this time it pans out because you block an extra point. And again, Josh Allen misses a wide open receiver for the 2-point conversion to win the game. And with this pretty unlikely to impact seeding, a part of me is almost like it kind of would have been nice if that cost them this game, so it would have been the third time, and maybe it would wake them up. But, I mean, obviously never rooting for a loss, but if the seeding doesn't matter, maybe they take a lesson away from that. But I'm so sick of watching this offensive philosophy. It is an abomination. Like, if your defense gives up 12 points, you should win this game handily. And time again, we see the offense put the defense in horrendous situations. And going into the playoffs, you just sort of feel like, man, this defense is going to have 4 straight all-world games, or it'll be a playoff exit because the offense just does not pull their own weight. So that's kind of what I walk out of this game. My big picture takeaway is the defense better rest up because they're going to play a whole lot of snaps in every playoff game, and they're going to need to hold teams under 14.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly, what the thought process is. It shouldn't, football games shouldn't be, hey, you know what? Let's just do just enough to win. That shouldn't be the mindset. The mindset should be go out there and dominate for 4 quarters and keep the pedal on the floor. And for whatever reason, they just don't agree to that. And something's got to give. And you're right. I think if they're going to make a run, I feel like their offense is very capable. It's the mindset that needs to change. And if that doesn't, I could easily see, a quick exit this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and the offense is obviously very capable. Just they do not string together performances. Nothing about this offense inspires confidence going into the playoffs. I mean, just they had a 30% success rate in this game, negative 0.12 EPA per play. The Bills have a good pass defense and you're playing in the rain, but the Bills have really bad run defense and you rushed for 82 yards in this game, 3.2 yards per carry. So that has been their Achilles heel all season. This is the 25th overall defense by DVOA, and you put up 13 points and you gain 15 yards in the entire second half. So I don't know what needs to happen for them to figure that out. But there's issues all over. There's issues play calling. The offensive line is atrocious. It's just been bad all year. And you hope Lane Johnson comes back and that'll help a lot of that out. And surely, the Eagles are probably going to not be playing starters in week 18. It depends on how some games shake out. I got to look at those scenarios, but seeding wise, it's unlikely to matter, I think, as of the last time I looked at it. And so, you need Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. If injury is why they've played like crap all season, you need them to get healthy so they can do something in the playoffs, but it's just rough. It's a rough performance once again by a unit that talent-wise is among the top in the league. Salary-wise is the top in the league by far, and they just continue to lay eggs.
Yeah.
So defensively, though, is there anything else you want to say about the offense? I'm so sick of talking about this offense.
Yeah, no. Did Hurts even have a completion in the second half?
No, zero passing yards in the second half.
What was he, 0 for 7, something like that?
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's atrocious. I mean, come on. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, also, like, where are when your offense is struggling there, where are the easy buttons? Where's the empty QB run? Where is the under center play action bootleg? Where's the RPO to Dallas Goedert? Like, you've got 3 things you're really good at to get back on track, and the Eagles were like, you know what? We've gone 3 and out 4 possessions in a row, but let's not try any of those things. So just sick of this offensive approach. Defensively, though, let's get into the defense. So the defense was awesome in this game. They get a goal line stand when they were down 13-0 that turns out to be huge in this game, obviously. But you get the goal line stand there, and obviously it looks a little bad down the stretch. You give up back-to-back touchdown drives, and I feel like that's sort of been a thing this season. But you're outpossessed by 11 minutes in time of possession, and I think at a certain point, I almost don't fault the defense when the offense is 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Eventually, you're going to wear down, and that's what I thought we saw happen in this game. So through 3 quarters, and obviously you can't do that, and you would like to see them step up and make a play, but through 3 quarters, I thought the defense was awesome. What was your big takeaway looking at the defense in this one?
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it, perfectly there. Through 3 quarters, they were absolutely unhinged. Like, they just were shutting down a very competent Bills team. Cook is a very good running back, and he didn't gash you like plenty of other teams have, and especially without Nakobe Dean, who again is kind of your run specialist. And I thought Campbell played really well in his absence. Cooper DeJean obviously was flying around making tackles left and right, and I thought even Reed Blankenship was being very productive. But yeah, I think again, I think that second half they were on the field a lot. The offense didn't help them, and they eventually got a little tired and let up that long drive that eventually they got their first touchdown. And thank God for Jalen Carter. I mean, honestly, it's those damn fingertips are what saved this game. But yeah, I don't necessarily fault the defense in giving up 2 late touchdowns, considering that they were, probably super gassed.
Yeah, it's Jalen Carter was good. The pass rush in this game, it's been nice to see the pass rush come alive over the last few weeks. They had 5 sacks in this game. All of them came with a 4-man rush, so not blitzing. And over the last 4 games, they've got 18 sacks without blitzers, which is 7 more than any other defense. And so the pass rush is coming alive at a great time. You add Jalen Carter back into that. Jalen Phillips had 6 pressures. Jalen Carter had 4. Nolan Smith had 3. Overall, Josh Allen was pressured 21 times in this game per the early PFF chartings. The pass rush comes alive, and I thought they also did a really good job of taking away James Cook early in this game. James Cook rushes 20 times for 74 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. And even Josh Allen, that's been one of the Achilles heels of the Eagles forever, is defending mobile quarterbacks. And when you get in, and we could get into why that is, and some of it's been poor rush lane integrity at times. Some of it has been that it's just the match-heavy coverage they play a lot of times. There's just nobody there. It clears out as if it were man coverage and there's room to run. Josh Allen only had 2 scrambles in this game for 8 yards. Overall, he rushes for 27 yards and 2 touchdowns on tush pushes, which Sean McDermott campaigned against in the offseason because it's unsafe. But I thought they did a really good job of containing James Cook, who I would argue is a top 5 running back in the league, or at least their rushing attack has been. They did a tremendous job on Josh Allen as a scrambler. And that's exactly what you want to do, especially in a game with the weather like it was. It makes it hard to throw the football. And I was just really impressed with what the defense was able to do up front early in this one.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jalen Phillips, ever since, again, he came, I think it's just been a different mindset. I know, he had maybe a couple of games there after his first 2 games where he was a little quiet. But, I think overall, when you have a full, healthy line, you have Jalen Carter, you have Phillips, you have Nolan. Hunt is, quietly having a really good season. And you have Brandon Graham, who, again, anything that he gives you is just kind of bonus at this point. But they were all over Josh Allen. They were pressuring him. They were hurrying him. They got, what was it, 5 or 6 sacks?
5.
Yeah.
They sacked him 5 times, 51 yards.
Yeah. So that's absolutely huge. So I'll call that a big win. And like you said, it's even more, important that they're doing this, with just their front 4.
Yeah.
So when they're acting like that with 0 blitzing, that means linebackers could be linebackers and the D-back could be D-backs. And when that happens, honestly, our defense is near impossible to beat. It's, unfortunately that, they were a little bit gassed out there for being on the field most of the second half. So, yeah, but I'm really happy where the rush is at this point.
Yeah, comment here from Adam asking about BG. He played 7 snaps, so he didn't play a ton.
I didn't see him a ton. I think, again, with Jalen Carter being out there and, Phillips and Hunt and Nolan Smith, I felt like they had a pretty good rotation for sure.
Yeah. Here's a stat from True Media for you guys. There have been 10 games in the NFL this season where a team has had fewer than 5 passing yards and a half. 10 total times. The Eagles are 3 of those 10, and they won all 3 of those games.
Are they the only ones to have won, right?
I'm not sure if they're the only ones that have won, but they're 3-0 when passing for fewer than 5 yards and a half. So, that's pretty. I mean, honestly, there's no stat that better encapsulates what this Eagles offense has been. This Eagles team has been this year because the defense has been phenomenal. Yeah. Comment here from Brett Eclipse about Quinyon Mitchell said he kind of got beat a little bit, which was surprising. He did a little, but like that one that they were saying Cooks was behind him and he turned the wrong way, that would have been a really tight window throw. And then the one that catch on top of him that probably wasn't actually a catch, but Sirianni didn't throw the red flag.
Right.
You can't play defense better than that. And the same thing with Epps, too, on that big pass that Epps gave up. Like, there were 2 of those, which, I mean, you can say that, too. The Bills did score their last 2 possessions, but it took 2 pretty big fluky catches, too, because both of those were really good defense. And so, you get breaks both ways sometimes. But, yeah, I would say I would have to watch it back. But it's so shocking when Quinyon gives up a catch. You're just like, wow, that must have been a bad game for him. Right. I didn't get the sense that he played bad, but we did see him more than we normally do.
Yeah, no, agreed. I thought, Adoree played, just as good as Adoree's been playing. And I thought Cooper was just all over the field. He's a tackling machine, honestly. I think he should start, coaching the tackling drills.
Yeah.
Maybe the rest of them will fall in suit.
Also, can we just talk about how stupid Sean McDermott is? That you score a touchdown, and instead of kicking the extra point to take it to overtime against an offense that has gained 4 yards in their last 4 possessions combined.
Right.
You decide to go for, normally in a back and forth game, I'm pretty pro, let's just go for 2 and the win. But at the point you're facing an offense that is inept as what the Eagles had put out there for the last 2 quarters of the game, there is no scenario. Like, if you put the ball on the 6-inch line, you should you should probably tush push it there, but just take it to overtime. You're going to win. Like, you were going to win in overtime. There's no doubt in my mind.
I had the same thought. I was just like, what? I was like, what are they doing? Like, the Eagles offense hasn't done anything in the second half. The Eagles defense in the fourth quarter is clearly gassed. You're able to move the ball on them finally. Well, what are we doing here? Like, I wouldn't have been mad, honestly, if they would have kicked the extra point and then they ended up winning in overtime because, again, the Eagles deserved that. But, honestly, I think this is one of those situations where they held on for dear life and were lucky to come away with a victory.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also, like, we had some questions about Cam Jurgens earlier and some of the offensive line, and I don't know what to tell you. Like, Cam's been awful this year. Him being named to the Pro Bowl is a complete joke, but Cam's been closer to a bottom 5 center in the NFL this year than he has been to a top 5 center, and you hope it's injury related, and you hope he can get healthy over the next 2 weeks for the playoffs, because he was good last year. And yet I am kind of concerned long-term about him and Dickerson, if I'm being honest, although he hasn't been as bad, I don't think, as Jurgens. But, you got to hope that Lane Johnson coming back will have a big impact on the offensive line and that they're just able to get healthy, because I feel like that's been as big of a problem with the offense as anything.
Absolutely. Well, listen, maybe the draft this year, they could just draft all offensive linemen. I mean, you already got to worry about right guard and right tackle. Why not center and left guards and just plan for the future?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people like throwing shots at Tyler Steen because he's like the obvious piece that changed from last year.
Right.
I'm here to tell you Tyler Steen has been the best interior offensive lineman for the Eagles this season, and it's not even close. Like, it's not even close. And I'm not saying he's been great. I'll whisper this into the mic. I actually don't think he's been that bad either. I think he's a perfectly acceptable starting guard in the NFL, and I would sign him again next year. But yeah, it's been a real struggle for sure. I guess we could talk special teams too. Jake Elliott made a couple field goals, which is nice. You obviously are concerned about that after last week, but he hits from 47 and then he hit from 28. Which whatever, but he hit from 47 in that weather, so that's not nothing.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, you gotta make those kicks regardless. Those are the kicks that are gonna, make or break you when you're in the playoffs and you're supposed to be an automatic from under 50 and you're missing those ones. Again, hopefully this is a confidence builder. You can build off of it. Hopefully whatever, he was talking about, the technique, the physical nature of the kicking is getting onto the
Braden Mann. Oh man, that one punt down to the 1 yard line. Of course, Cameron Latu, just an all-time bonehead decision. But what a punt! I don't think I've ever seen a ball just like check up and totally die like that. Because it wasn't just like slowly rolling into the one. It like bounced and then it just like stopped.
Bounced straight up and then bounced and then stopped. Yeah, it was great.
That was just an incredible punt. So if you want to talk about good things in special teams, I guess we can talk about the punter and the kicker. And then the rest of it was kind of bad. You get Britton Covey getting taken out on one of the punts. And
that looked painful.
Yeah, fortunate. I was really happy to see him up and out there to return the next punt. Punt returners are all psychopaths. Like, how do you get your leg nearly torn off? And then 5 minutes later, you're out there staring into the sky with no idea who's coming around you, just trusting nobody's going to try to tear your leg off again.
Right, yeah.
I do not, I forget who said the quote one time, but it's a quote I've read in the past that if anyone says they're fearless, you put them on special teams. Just insane. But, Sidney Brown gets thrown to the ground on that one, and the guy trips over him into Covey. You have the Cameron Latu thing, so there's some definite miscues on special teams, but Braden Mann looked good as he kind of has all year, and it was nice to see Elliott hit a couple kicks.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at this point where, you got to grasp at straws here for positive takeaways sometimes. And listen, special teams are a huge part of this game, and I thought early in this game, I thought they were playing, the special teams was playing really well. So,
yeah. And then I guess comment here from Shake said that I guess Jalen Carter really was hurt all year because he looked like the old Jalen Carter today. He played well today. Hopefully we can see it continue on. I know at one point he left the game and went into the medical tent, but then he came back out. So, hopefully he's healthy. And like we kind of said earlier, the pass rush, if the pass rush can continue to dominate and you can take away teams' run game, that's what's going to give you the best shot moving forward into the postseason, because you just can't rely on the offense to really do a lot for you moving forward, I don't think. But officiating, we can touch on officiating. I don't really want to belabor the point, but the officiating in this game was hot garbage, from the missed, obvious DP where A.J. Brown can't even lift his second arm.
He's just like, I guess I'll try to do this.
Yeah, on what would have been a touchdown. And I would like A.J. Brown to make that a little more obvious. Sell that, turn around and throw your arm. If it's the world we live in now, I guess. Just go whine for the flag and do the official's job for them. But Hurts getting hit on the sideline, Hurts being thrown to the ground after it was actually on the Devontae Smith catch that was a catch, but nobody in the NFL even knows what a catch is anymore. Apparently, if you fall to the ground, the ball can't move when you land on the ground. He clearly didn't lose control of that ball.
Yeah.
But whatever. Not only did they reverse that, they totally missed Jalen Hurts getting slung to the ground after the ball was out of his hand. They're also I think it was on the touchdown, or the play didn't end up being a touchdown, that the one they overturned and then they pushed on 4th down. Clear pick that didn't get called. Marcus Epps was really upset about that one after the play, but officiating was really bad in this game too. But the Eagles offense was still worse. So, it wasn't the officiating wasn't the worst thing in this game. So they can thank the Eagles offense for that honor, I guess.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, our holiday you're saving.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. This season, enjoy spacious, comfortable rooms and friendly service when you book with Hilton instead. Hilton for the stay.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
The Subaru Share the Love event is on from November 20th to January 2nd. During this event, Subaru donates to charities like Make-A-Wish, helping grant more than 3,900 wishes so far. When you purchase or lease a new vehicle during the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru and its retailers will make a minimum $300 donation to charity. Visit Subaru.com/share to learn more.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other toppings, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at Fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
One final thing that I want to mention, and then we can get into our player of the games and stuff, unless you got anything else, is it's a small thing, but game management miscues again popping up for the Eagles. So when that play gets reviewed with 19 seconds left, and he's short of the goal line and it's 4th down, the Eagles should have taken a timeout. Like, take the timeout so there's not a 10-second runoff. Because it's 4th down, you know they're going to tush push. It's a 1 or 2 second play. You either stop them and the game's over.
Right, or you do.
Because either way, you're going to have to take a snap. Like, if the runoff happens, if you stop them, there's going to be another play. So it's not like you're getting out of taking a snap from the end zone. And for all that matters, you could run out of the back of the end zone. It doesn't matter. But it's the difference between getting the ball back with 17 seconds or getting the ball back with 4 seconds. Which is not a huge difference, but again, games are won on the margins, and there's just no reason not to do that.
And you had another timeout, so you could have gotten the ball, you could have thrown it, and again, maybe you throw 20, 25 yards down the line and call a timeout and make Jake Elliott kick a 65-yard field goal, which whatever, but at least there's an attempt, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that's what your head coach is supposed to be focusing on when he's not calling plays, and I just think it was poor game management. So J-Rock says he thinks I'm wrong on that one. Tell me why. I'm interested to hear. Ping me in Discord, or you can drop it here in the chat too. But let's see. I saw one other. Oh yeah, Brett Eclipse asked about 3 words. Yeah, we'll get to 3 words after player of the games and stuff. But Ryan, anything else that you want to throw out? Oh, here's a good one. Here's a video of Nick Sirianni walking down the tunnel after the game saying, "Not so much talking anymore." I would maybe not be chirping after that.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, agreed.
anyways, go ahead. Anything else that you
Yeah,
had,
no,
Ryan?
again, while it's not exactly how we wanted them to win, and it didn't look pretty, and the offense, went soft in the second half, they still came out with a win against a very good opponent. Somebody, would say that, a team that might end up in the Super Bowl. So, obviously the NFC is pretty tough this year. The West is absolutely loaded. You still have Chicago. Hopefully, if we get the right matchups, I think we can make a run. But these dumb decisions of playing conservative can't happen. It's the playoffs. You need to absolutely balls to the wall the entire time until you know the game is out of reach. Not at halftime. No game is out of reach at halftime.
Yeah. Especially not one that's 13-0.
It's only 13, right? I think we've seen 30 odd points a couple of times. Differences being overcome in a second half. So, I think they need to change that mindset of, hey, let's just do barely enough. No, let's do more than enough, and then chill out. In the last 5 minutes of the game or whatever. So anyway, yeah, that's all I really got to say.
Yeah, excluding the Raiders, who are clearly the worst team in football,
Awful.
And the Commanders, who are not much better. The Eagles have scored 15 points per game since the bye, 6 games against Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas, Chicago, and Buffalo, and the Chargers. That was the 6th one. So Green Bay, they score 10, Detroit 16, Dallas 21, 15, the Chargers 19, and Buffalo 13. It's not good enough. And, the defense is awesome, and we're going to keep leaning on that defense, and the defense is what gives you hope. But the offense has got to figure some stuff out, and they're just simply out of time because most of them probably aren't playing next week. So, all right. Well, let's go to our player of the games, and then we'll get into our 3 words. So, Ryan, I'll give it to you first. Who are you giving player of the game to in this one?
I'm going to go with Coop. Again, I just thought he was absolutely everywhere on the field, making tackles, breaking up passes. I just thought he was, nightmare for Josh Allen, and I thought he was a big reason why we were able to hold on.
Yeah, I will also shout out. It didn't end up being a fumble, but the one that we thought was a fumble that they ended up reviewing and saying that. Right. I think, was it Cook was down? I think it was Cook.
Yeah, it was Cook, yeah.
So Cooper DeJean had one of the smartest plays I've ever seen because there's an offensive lineman closer to the ball running to it, and there's almost no chance that DeJean is going to be able to dive on the ball with him and get it. And so as the offensive lineman is getting ready to go for it, he just pushed him, and so he sails past the ball. And that's legitimately the smartest thing I think I've ever seen somebody do on a football field. I've never seen somebody do that before.
Seen anybody do that. You're right. And I immediately thought, oh, wait a minute. Are they going to call a flag on that? And then I was like, well, wait a minute. That's not illegal. You're theoretically going for a ball. You're just, pushing somebody out of the way. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. The dude went flying, by the way, too. And he was just like, whoop, scoop. Like, easily able to get right on that ball. It's just, unfortunately, it looked like Cook's elbow just hit. Right before the ball was about to come out. So.
Yeah, but tremendous heads-up play by Cooper DeJean there, so I wanted to shout that out. I'll go player of the game, Jalen Carter. Gets a sack, had 4 pressures, I think I said, and obviously he gets that blocked extra point that turns out to be the deciding factor in the game, because if that doesn't happen, the Bills are kicking an extra point to win. So I'll shout out Jalen Carter there. And then let's go with our 3-word reactions. You guys, some of you have dropped some here in the comments. Andrew said grossly incompetent victory. I like that one. We've got to stop playing scared from Robster. Anthony says Jalen keeps winning. We've got from Ben a play 4 quarters. Brett Eclipse shouts out Zach Bond for player of the game, which is also a good shout. But Brett Eclipse said, had me fooled. I'm assuming he's talking about the offense the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. Ryan, you guys can keep dropping some here. I'll come back if we see a few more. But, Ryan, do you have a 3-word reaction?
Yeah, I guess. No, that's not 3 words. Fix for playoffs? That was probably terrible, but they just, I think it's the mindset, honestly, that just needs to get. They have They have all the pieces.
Yeah.
They've shown that with, Sirianni getting a little bit more involved in the play calling decisions and whatnot, the offense can move the ball. So put the pedal on the foot on the gas, however you want to call it. Yeah, foot on gas. That's my 3 words. Foot on gas.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, play 2 halves. That's mine. Play 2 halves. You could also go with play 4 quarters, I guess. That works too. But yeah, I'm just so tired of seeing the same song and dance play out. The Eagles have got to have that killer mindset, and they just haven't had that. And my biggest fear is that Nick Sirianni will walk away from this game and say, "Well, it worked. Like, we did what we wanted to. We didn't turn the ball over. We won the game. We trusted the defense. They got it done." And that's just simply not the case. We'll see if they have a different approach in the playoffs. Like I said, I'll have to look into the scenarios. My sense was it was pretty difficult for the Eagles to get to the 2 seed. I'm not sure how that looks now after all of these games, but I would imagine that starters probably not playing much next week. So hopefully the Eagles can get healthy, and hopefully they don't take a 2-touchdown lead in the first half of any playoff game, and they should be good to go. Just keep that close until the second half, I guess. But a few other 3 words here. We've got a 17-yard half and a defense so good from Cauldron of Stardust. Brett Eclipse gave Allen chokes again. J-Rock with a playoff football, please. Defense is elite from Venom.
Like that.
Fangio is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of stuff there. Brandon says we need the Bears to lose out at this point.
Yeah. So since the Eagles won, they need to lose to San Fran, and then they need to lose in Week 18 for us to get number 2 seed.
Okay.
Mostly because Seattle won. If Seattle had lost to Carolina, there'd be another avenue. But the only avenue now is Chicago's got to lose. They played tonight, right?
Yeah, they're on Sunday Night Football against San Fran.
Yeah. So they're probably on in about 5 or 10 minutes. So sadly, I guess we got to root for San Fran.
So yeah, go San Fran, and then Detroit. Detroit will want to beat Chicago after how this season has gone for both of them. So they will at least be up for that game in Week 18.
Hopefully.
So all right, final 3 words here that we're going to close out with, and then I'll throw it to final thoughts. Jack has a great one here. Sirianni annoyingly vindicated.
Nice.
I love it. All right, that's going to about do it for this post-game show. Ryan, before we get out of here, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this wasn't the game that we all were hoping for, but in the long run, a win is a win, and it does help us to potentially get the number 2 seed. Either way, stranger things can certainly happen in the playoffs. We have been a part of strange things in the playoffs. So let's keep the hopes up. Let's be positive and hope that the right moves are made at the right times and we play the right opponents and, this, that, and the other. So all
right. Yep. Well, there you have it, folks. Our instant reactions to the Eagles' victory over the Bills. Messy game. Halftime, we would have had way different takeaways. But unfortunately, a game is 4 quarters, and maybe the offense will figure that out at some point. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the show more than the end of the game. Because the end of the game was stressful. But
it sure was.
If you enjoy the content, hit subscribe wherever you are watching this right now. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. The audio will be dropping in podcasting platforms later. But we'll have all kinds of stuff coming out this week. Kelly Green Hour, Birds of the Round Table. Johnny and I will be breaking down. Actually, I think Johnny's going to have to solo the film this week because we've got some scheduling conflicts. But we'll have all kinds of different stuff coming out this week to break this game down. Maybe not quite as much focused on getting ready for Week 18, especially if the Bears win tonight. But
sure,
we'll really get this game recapped and we'll get ready for that playoff stretch. So I hope you guys will follow along with us for a long playoff stretch that lasts into February. We'd love to be doing this still 5-6 weeks from now as we preview an Eagles Super Bowl. So keep it tuned right here to the Eagles Pinpool Network. Thank you, everybody, for joining. For me, for Ryan, we will catch you guys next time. Go Birds.
Go Birds.